She's a Democrat of Minnesota. Congresswoman, thank you very much for making time tonight. I know there's a lot of demands on your time right now in this storm that you're in. Thanks for being here.
Great to be here with you, Rachel. Thank you for having me.
So, as I was just saying, there's obviously no playbook for how to respond to racist attacks from a sitting president. How have you gone about formulating your response, figuring out the right way for you to absorb these attacks from the president and to talk to the country in the way that you have ever since this started?
Look, many of us, as I said today, when we're brown and black in this country, have been subjected to the old racist trope of go back to where you came from, whether it happens on a school playground or inside the hallway, or someone shouting at you in the street. And many of us have had our responses. And now, today and yesterday, we had to figure out how to respond, it coming from the President of the United States. And we were reminded something that my 7-year-old says, does he know he is the President of the United States? And we had to make sure to let him know that here in this country, we see everyone, we welcome everyone, and we remind people that they are valued. And we're not going to allow him to continue his throwing of the bile of garbage that constantly comes out of his mouth that allows for the media to be distracted truly from delivering the kind of insight investigation into the lawlessness that is of his administration, the constant human rights violation, the policies that are detrimental to our existence in this country, and the harm that he is causing on a daily basis to our Constitution and the existence of our country.
As the president has singled out you and your colleagues in the House, obviously that's put an incredibly hot spotlight on you. But as you're just saying there, that critique that this is an effort to distract by the president, this is an effort for him to create a narrative that he likes. He's doing this obviously on purpose, and he knows how people will respond to these sorts of attacks. I wonder how you sort of think about that in terms of balance. Obviously, you have a platform because you're looked to for a response to these attacks from the president that is of his making, but also you get to speak on your own terms once you get that. How do you sort of avoid helping him do his work of distracting from the kinds of things that you just described?
Yeah, I mean, we get an opportunity to call him out, and we get an opportunity to really talk about what the direction for this country should look like. This is a president who believes it is okay for him to think that people who say something that will move this country forward should be deported. And he's called on us to go back and fight corruption and fight these countries that have worst leaders and inept leaders. Well, we are living in one. He is that president. He is corrupt. He is the worst president we've had. He is inept. And we're going to call him out for it. And we're going to hold him accountable. We're going to talk about the policies that he's creating that we think are setting our country back. And we're going to make sure that not do we only resist to him, but that we insist on furthering policies that are going to guarantee health care for people, that are going to provide the proper education that they need, that is going to make sure that they are not forever shackled with student debt, that's going to provide the kind of housing that is proper, that's going to take care of our veterans, our disabled, and our most vulnerable, which is our children, our elderly. And we're going to make sure that we are moving the agenda we were sent to move here in Congress.
Today, in your remarks with your colleagues, you and Congresswoman Tlaib both specifically mentioned impeachment and called for impeachment proceedings to start against the president. Is that for the conduct laid out in the Mueller report or for other scandal-ridden behavior, or are you suggesting that he ought to be impeached in part for the kinds of attacks that he's levied against you and your colleagues?
No, we're suggesting that he's committed high crimes and misdemeanors, and it's about time that we start the process and impeach this president. As Ayanna says, he's an occupant and does not rise to the level of what we expect our president to. And it's time for us to make sure that the United States has a president that they can be proud of, someone who understands the responsibility of a president and someone who carries it out. Look, we have a president that truly believes that if you say something that he doesn't agree with, that you should no longer have the opportunity to exercise your First Amendment rights. This is a president who himself has said our country and its leaders are dumb. This is a president who said the state of New Hampshire is a drug-infested den. This is a president who constantly, vulgarly speaks about how dirty our streets are, how inept we are as a nation, and doesn't really offer any solution in dealing with that. He abdicates his responsibility in trying to set the course on what will make our country live up to its ideals. And here we are as members of Congress doing the work that will get us the country we all deserve, one that is truly functioning for all of us, one that sees and values every single person in it, and one that is making sure that our shiny and wonderful Constitution is fully intact and the protections it's offered is enjoyed by all of us.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, thank you for your time this evening. I'm sure these last few days have been incredibly stressful. You taking time out to talk to us about it is an honor. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, much more ahead tonight. Stay with us.